Howdy folks, and welcome to Hawkmare Outdoors. And on this episode, I'm upgrading my chainsaw bar and my chain, so y'all stay tuned. I bought my Stihl MS400C about a year ago, and it's been a really great saw. I've put in a lot of good work with it. I'm surprised at how much more powerful it is compared to the old Farm Boss I had before this. But recently, I've come into some wood that need a little bit more reach and a little bit more aggressive chain. So I went ahead and picked those items up, and today is the day that I install them on the saw, get me back out there cutting wood. This is a pretty straightforward process. We use a scrunch, take off these nuts to remove my old bar and chain, and then bolt the new one right up. Pretty straightforward process. If you've done any chainsawing at all, you probably know how to do this. Guys are running pretty tight. Here's one feature of this MS400C that I really do like. Your nuts on your plate here, your cover, they're captive. So I know saws that I've had in the past, those aren't captive, and when you take them off, if you're not careful, you could easily lose those in the woods, pile of leaves or anything like that. So that is one nice feature with the MS400C, those captive nuts. With that side plate out of the way, see, I've kind of been neglectful. It's pretty dirty. It's been running just fine, but a lot of old sawdust there. I'm gonna clean that up before I put the new one on. All right, let's go ahead and get into this new bar. Like I said, the old bar was 20 inches, and this baby, 25 inches. It's gonna give me just a little bit more reach. And as many of y'all know, you take every inch you can get. Let's get it on there. To go with my new bar, obviously I had to get a new chain as well. This one is kind of a super chisel point compared to like a standard. The guy at the shop said that with this bigger bar, that's what he would recommend, but you do need to be a little more cautious. There could be more kickback involved with this different chisel profile. So that's something to be mindful. I mean, chainsaws are inherently dangerous, so be careful. We'll get this thing unwound. I mean, every single time, guys. If you got a good tip on how to get a chain out of the package and unwind it without looking like a monkey trying to hump a football, let me know. We'll be back in a few minutes. I finally got the chain untangled from the packaging. It took me more time than I expected, and I said some things that'd probably get me kicked off YouTube. So here we are. I'm gonna go ahead and line up the chain onto this new bar. Not a scratch on it, nothing like a new bar. Now you do this, you wanna make sure your cutting teeth are pointed out, like forward, and pretend like it's a knife going forward to cut that wood. If you cut much wood and you've never put a chain on backwards, you're a liar. It happens to all of us. So with this, we'll go ahead and line up the holes here. So we're going to do a little, back that off just a little bit. Wrong way. All right, guys, we're going to throw this new bar and chain on here. In your bar, there's going to be a little hole here. It's going to line up with that tab there. Your chain's going to go behind this rear sprocket. Looks like I need to loosen it up just a little bit more so I can clear that sprocket. All right, that's all lined up. Now, work that chain, that groove on the bar. back in there. We may have backed it off a little too much, so we're gonna start tightening it down a little bit. What that's doing is pushing that bar forward. I went ahead and put my chain around the sprocket back here, and I put my cover on finger tight. And what I'm gonna do, there's still quite a bit of play to that chain through this port cover. Stick my scrunch in there and start tightening it down a little bit. A lot of people say you put like a nickel under your chains, like the right tightness. I like to have a little spring back like that. That looks pretty good. And we'll go ahead and tighten these captive nuts down. Good tightness on there. Let's put on the correct orientation. She turns. Another thing, if you're gonna move your chain like that when you're sharpening or whatever, always do it in the direction that the chain goes. Don't try to go the other direction. We'll move it that way. Well, she looks like she's about ready to cut. Now that I got a new chain and bar put on the chainsaw, it's time to put in a little work. Got a little oak tree there to cut up. There's a cedar tree on behind it. Put it through its paces. I'm gonna go ahead and start the saw and let it warm up. I like doing that before I start cutting with it. While I'm letting that saw warm up, I'm gonna put on my safety chaps and get all my gear ready. And it's time to cut. There you have it, folks. The new 25-inch barn chain on the Stihl MS400C. I gotta say, I really like it. Cut really smooth, but it's a little front heavy. That longer bar kind of tends to dip down a little more than what I'm used to. That 20-inch. Can't say that I'll leave this one on here, but for bigger stuff, for sure, I'm gonna use this. But I'll probably switch back to 20-inch for limbing and smaller stuff, and that's mainly what I do. But it's kind of nice to have the big boy ready to go when you need it. Thanks for watching today's episode. Stay tuned for more exciting outdoor adventures on Hockmeyer Outdoors.